I swear every time I blink, there is a new wireless mic that's hitting the market, and some of them seem to be packed with new features, but others seem to just be like the size of a Tic Tac. But today, we're looking at the MAONO Wave T5. MAONO. Honestly, I have no clue how to actually say it properly, so for the sake of this video, we're just going to go ahead and call it the Wave T5. Now, I did want to give a quick disclaimer before we get too far ahead in this. The Wave T5 was sent to me at no cost. However, they have no say in this review, nor did they get to see it before it goes live on YouTube. Meaning, all of the thoughts and opinions in this video are that of my own, and honestly, I may be a bit too honest, so you just have to bear with me. Now, the Wave T5 is actually packaged pretty nicely, which seems to be a common theme with a lot of the microphones that I've reviewed, the odd exception actually being the Rode VideoMic NTG. Not really sure what happened there. Inside the box though, you have your standard paperwork, you have a soft storage bag for some extra cables, then you have a textured hard case for, well, everything else. Housed inside the cases are two spare magnets, two alligator clips, a USB A to C cable, a 3.5mm cable, and two smartphone receivers, one lightning and one USB-C. Oh, and stickers. You've always got to include stickers. I'll explain why these are interesting in just a sec. Now, the charging case holds both the transmitters and the camera receivers. And while it feels pretty well built, it's only molded for those three things. There's no extra space for your cables, hence the separate storage bag, which I'm gonna do my best not to lose that by the end of this video. The case also doubles as a charger for the transmitters and receivers, so it supports a battery indicator on the front, and then on the back you have a USB-C port for, well, charging. Circling back really quick to the transmitters. So, I'm not trying to throw any shade here, but if you've been around the mic world for a little bit, you might notice, these two look pretty similar, and let's just say they bear a striking resemblance. I'm actually not going to say the name of this microphone, but if you do recognize the twin, go ahead and just drop a comment if you've connected that dot. So you guys see the difference. Despite the initial similarities, there are some key differences. For example, up top, you've got a standard capsule for capturing audio. That's pretty basic, but then on the side, you actually have two buttons. Now, one of them serves as both the power and the noise cancellation toggle, whereas the other is actually a dedicated mute button. So you can quickly cut the mic without having to turn it off. I could foresee this being a good and a bad thing, because if you want to mute someone, you know, both the buttons are on the same side, you can easily just like have them press that. But alternatively, if someone's not paying attention and they accidentally press it and you don't realize it until you're in post, now it's a little bit too late to, it's too late to be doing anything. On the plus side, if you are using this microphone with your smartphone, you can actually press that mute button and it'll start and stop your recording. So this works with iPhones and Androids. That alone could be a huge selling point for solo creators, but maybe not for me. And like I mentioned earlier, the power button actually does serve a dual purpose. It's also for your noise cancellation, and I'm not gonna deep dive into that just yet, but MAONO, they made a pretty big claim to say that they're the industry leader in technology, and yeah, you guys know I'm just gonna have to put that to the test later. Now, these transmitters do deliver 24-bit audio, which is more than enough for like 95% of creators out there. They're also rated for up to 1,000 feet from the receiver, so as long as you have like a clear line of sight, you should be good. But throw in some obstacles, now you're gonna start competing for signals like Wi-Fi and other wireless microphones on similar bands, so that range is definitely gonna shrink. On the back, you have a built-in magnet, which is really convenient for clipping it to your shirt, or you know, you could just clip it to your hat, which is great. You also have an optional alligator clip or a necklace, though honestly, I've never really had any luck with the necklace accessory because with other microphones, they always seem to be like this big tangled mess, so that's why I keep them bundled up. Let's talk about the receiver for a sec, because it's pretty straightforward, all things considered. On one side, you have your audio port, and then you have a switch, and this physical switch is for mono and stereo. And honestly, more microphones need to adopt this, because I'm a big fan of physical switches over buttons that you can accidentally press and then you don't realize it until you're back home and you're editing. I can't tell you how many times personally I've unknowingly hit the button and then now I'm having to like sync up audio and like copy it over in Premiere Pro. It is a whole hassle. But on the flip side, you have your power button, which is pretty standard, and you have a USB-C port, so for like charging. The button's self-explanatory, but it is worth mentioning that the second you guys pull these things out of their charging case, they just turn on. But up top, there's a gain knob, which has a satisfying clicky notch thing that you can spin freely, 360 degrees, but it still has enough resistance. There's 3 indicators that also show you your gain level. So the far right is 0, the middle is +3, the left is +6, and all that's indicated by LEDs that are on the top. So you should always know what your gain is easily. Unfortunately though, there's no port for real-time monitoring, so basically you're left trusting your gut or relying on a ridiculous amount of luck. I feel like Lightning McQueen said it best.
And remember, with a little rusties and an insane amount of luck, you too can look like me.
All right, for the crowd that needs to know a little bit more spec-wise, I'm just gonna speed through a couple of them that I think are the most important. They may not actually be, but then we'll go ahead and we'll do like some real world audio tests. The official working range is 300 meters, which is actually just less than the 1,000 feet that's advertised on the Amazon. Honestly, I'm not gonna ding them for that. It's like 986 feet if I'm doing that right. But they do say that you can expect up to 100 meters of working range with interference. For the battery life, you're looking at about 10 hours per transmitter and up to 30 hours total combined with the charging case. The receiver runs for about 9 hours, which yes, that is the technical term, at least according to the manual. And then both the transmitters and the receiver recharge in about an hour and a half, and I think the case is 2 hours, so that's not too terrible. Also, just to be completely clear, unless it wasn't apparent up until this point, there's no internal recording, which given the size factor is completely understandable. That is enough of the specs. Let's finally head out and see how this microphone sounds in the real world. Feels so weird doing this, but this is the ZV-E10 Mark II internal microphone. This is how that one sounds. So just as like a frame of reference to kind of clear your palate, that is how a standard microphone sounds. This is not my VM40 that I use on all of my studio videos, so it might sound a little different. Probably doesn't sound as good because I do a lot of tweaking to that audio, but I'm gonna leave this track completely unedited, and now we're gonna go ahead and switch to the Wave T5. All right, so now we've switched over to the Wave T5. So it's kind of a windy day at the park today. Florida's had some really bad weather this week, which is great because our grass in previous weeks has looked like crap. So having a little bit of rain and wind is not such a bad thing, but because of that, it does mean it might be a good environment to actually test out the windiness, the noise reduction. So this is kind of your baseline. This is just how the Wave T5 sounds. Now I've gone ahead and turned on the noise cancellation. So when you actually want to see if it's on, the light will turn from blue to green. This is what noise cancellation sounds like. I don't know if it's going to sound robotic, if it's going to sound decent. There is a slight gust right now. So if you do hear that, obviously it means that the noise reduction isn't working. But if you don't hear it, you don't hear the crickets and the birds, like I like this little spot because you can hear all of the wildlife. But if you can't hear it, it means the noise reduction's working. All right, so now I'm sitting here, I'm right next to a drain. I'll show it to you real quick. So yeah, so you guys can see the drain. Obviously it's very loud. If I click this, now I have the noise cancellation on. You shouldn't be able to hear the drain. If you can, drop a comment at this point. If you can't, also drop a comment. Let me know if it's actually doing the job, because I don't know. I'm gonna switch back off in the event that it didn't sound good, but yeah, you guys kind of get the gist of it. This is the Wave T5 outside, and actually I also brought along the unnamed microphone, so I'm gonna switch over to that now. All right, and now here's the tried and true unnamed microphone. So just as a slight sound comparison, again, next to the drain, you can hear it. Now the noise cancellation's turned on, you shouldn't be able to hear it. So can you guys tell the difference between this mic and the Wave T5? Here, let's do it one more time. Again, drain, wind blowing. This is the unnamed microphone. And then here's now with the noise cancellation on. You shouldn't be able to hear the drain. I know that this microphone works very well. The noise cancellation is great, but how does it compare to the Wave T5? Let me know in the comments below. So really quick, this is a range distance test. So I'm not too far away from the camera, maybe 10, 15 yards away, but I'm gonna walk all the way down there and I'm gonna see if the microphone cuts out, and that will prove, at least to me, if the range is decent. Now there are a couple trees, there's a couple people here, so we're gonna test that out. So just follow along. audio test has failed, but we're gonna at this point the microphone is still working, so if it worked back there, then we've done a good job. So anyways, that's my distance test. So I'm gonna let you guys be the judge of that. How are we feeling so far? Is the audio vlog worthy? Does it suck? Am I just really good at convincing you to stick around for a video this long? Or maybe you just like the sound of my voice. I feel like this microphone can be really good for like travel or lifestyle stuff, or maybe like some TikToker's chaotic cooking session. I don't know, I watch weird stuff. But if you are convinced and you're thinking about picking one of these up for yourself, the Wave T5 does come in a few different configurations. For example, the version that I'm using, the full combo with all 3 receivers, that sells for $109 on the official website and on Amazon, linked in the description below. But if you don't need all of the extras, you've got options, because there's a lightning only version for $99, a USB-C version for $90, and then there's the camera only version for $99 as well. So I probably should have put those in order better, but you're strictly shooting for cameras with that one, so you know, pick carefully. Honestly, there's not a whole big difference. $109 for the bundle isn't that bad, and you can catch it on sale with like a promo code or coupon, which is pretty frequent. And you guys cannot forget that they do include the stickers, which these are really cool, because what you can actually do is you can take the transmitter, you can take one of these stickers and you can just slap it on. So if you want to be more creative or convenient, you can do that. So I'm probably gonna take the black one like I did with the unnamed. I wouldn't be surprised if MAONO sells the different receivers separately, but I wouldn't bet on it. If I do hear back from them by the time that this video is up, I will go ahead and link that information in the comments below. If you have made it this far and you do want to support the channel at no additional cost to yourself, consider picking up one of these microphones from the Amazon affiliate links in the description. Overall, I think that this is I think it's a solid microphone. It's not perfect by any means, but really none of them are. It really just comes down to what your workflow is. And honestly, if you guys want to hear it stacked up against its suspiciously similar competitor or other budget microphones that I may have tested, check out the shorts tab. Shorts like short form video, not shorts like the shorts in my closet. Feel like I really need to clarify that these days, but you guys get the gist of it. I'm going to be posting some audio comparisons, so if you do want to see those, be sure to hit subscribe, tap the bell, do all the other stuff. If you guys do want to support the channel, the easiest way to do it is to hit the like button. Drop a comment. What products do you want to see me review? What comparisons do you want to see? Do you want to see a full in-depth video of these two where the MAONO goes up against the unnamed counterpart? Drop a comment. That's the easiest way to do it. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to stop rambling now. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.